Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to show you how to change the manual transmission oil in a car. Now the first thing you want to do is just get a visual on where the gearbox is in the engine bay. So we can see here it's on the right hand side of the engine. Now in the intro you would have seen me jack the car up. Now the reason I've done that is just to get easier access to the gearbox drain plug and filler plug. So just keep in mind when you fill the gearbox up with oil that you'll need to have the car on a level surface. So what we'll do is we'll take it off the axle stands and put it on a level surface when we're ready to fill the gearbox up. Now if we take a look underneath the car and looking at the gearbox here, the next step is just identifying the filler plug and the drain plug on the gearbox. So just looking up here, I can see there's a filler plug here and it's actually labelled oil. And normally the drain plug is at the lowest point of the gearbox. Now the principle is pretty much the same across all cars. So this is a front wheel drive gearbox. You're going to have your filler plug and your drain plug on that type of gearbox. As well as rear wheel drive, it's the same principle. You'll still have a filler and a drain plug. Now if you're not sure where your filler and drain plug is on your particular model of car, you're best just to consult your user manual or just by looking online for the plug locations for your model of car. Now taking a look at the gear oil that I'm using, this is what is recommended for my car. If you're not sure on the type of gear oil you need for your gearbox, just consult your user manual for your car or just have a look on the internet. You can also just pop into your auto parts store and just give them the make and model of your car. Normally they can just look up on their database and tell you what oil you need for your particular car. Now the next step of the process is just getting our tools together and having a look at what we need. Right, so the first thing we're going to need is a socket set. So I'm just going to use a half drive socket set for this job. Pop that down there. And I'll just get this oil draining pan. Okay, so in this pan I've got a funnel with a PVC tube at the end of it. We could use this, or I've also got this oil pump here that we can also use as well. So once we get to that stage of filling the gearbox of oil, we'll decide on what tool we'll use here. Okay, well let's get under the car and make a start. Okay, so we're back under the car again. First thing we're going to do is loosen off and remove this oil filler plug. Then we'll just move down towards the end of the gearbox and we're going to loosen off and remove this drain plug also. Now we're just going to move to the drain plug here. And just have your oil drain pan ready. Right guys, so the gearbox is drained, and as you can see here, I've made a bit of a mess. So yeah, just a word of warning, I should have actually had that axle stand placed in a better position, but I was a bit too lazy to move it. I had a feeling that might happen, but I didn't think it would flow out as quickly as it did. Now one positive is that you can see the oil, it looks pretty clean to me. So I'll just quickly clean this up and then we'll carry on and fill this gearbox up. Okay, we're back. So I've tidied up this oil spill here and we're ready just to put our oil drain plug back into the gearbox. Now before refitting the drain plug back into the gearbox, it's a good idea just to visually inspect the plug. Now one of the things I check is just the crush washer. If it's looking a bit past it, it might be advisable to replace it. I'm just going to reuse this one. And it's possible that your drain plug could have a magnetic tip on it. This one isn't a magnetic tip, but if yours is, just check that there's any metal buildup on there and just wipe it off. Okay, so I'll just pop this in, get this started by hand. And then what you want to do is basically just nip it up till it stops. You don't want to crank this up. So that's the idea of that crush washer. It should hopefully do its job. Okay, now that's done, what I'm going to do is take the car off its axle stands. So we'll jack the car up, get it off the axle stands, and then we'll fill the gearbox while the car's on a level surface. Okay, we've got the car off its axle stands and it's now on a level surface, so we're able to fill that gearbox up with oil. Now just looking at the access to the filler plug on the gearbox, it's probably easier if I access it from the top here. Now it's a little bit tight under the car and I don't think I'll be able to get access easily to that filler plug. So what I'll do is I'm going to just remove this battery and we'll just see how much access we have. Okay, with the battery removed you can see we have better access to the filler plug. Now I'll just point it out, it's just down just below my finger there. So what we're going to do is fill it up. Right, so I think I'll try this funnel first. Now we just need to get that PVC pipe just into the filler hole there. Okay, so that's in. I think I'll just stick to using this funnel. Now I'm just going to tie this funnel just so it doesn't drop down while we're putting oil into it. Just got some wire here. Okay, now I'll just double check that PVC pipe's still in the filler hole, which it is. Great, so we're ready to fill the gearbox with oil. Now if we just take a look back under the car again, what we're going to do is fill this gearbox with oil, and once the gearbox is at its full point, oil will just spill out of this hole. So basically you're just filling it up until the oil starts spilling back out of this hole. Okay, now you can see that the oil is just dripping out of the filler hole. Now that means that the gearbox is full. So what we can do now is just refit our filler plug back into the gearbox. Now before refitting the filler plug back into our gearbox, we want to do the same thing as we did with our drain plug, is just give it a visual inspection. So that looks good, and we'll do the same with our crush washer. That looks fine as well, so I'm just going to reuse that one. Okay, and we can just refit this to our gearbox. Same thing again, you just want to start doing up the plug by hand, and then we can nip it up with the socket. So you're just wanting to nip that plug up. You don't want to over tighten it. Just let the crush washer do its job. Okay, well that's the job done. Well, that brings us to the end of another video. We've successfully changed the manual transmission oil in this car. Hopefully you've taken away enough information to be able to do the same on your car as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.